sit straight and tall. Have as much height as you need. Flow the buttock to the back of the knees, release the lower back. Feel that you can also get that release in your hips, across the thighs, relax the knees. Breathe into the side body. Observe that the shoulders can release down away from the ears. Bring the hands together and close the eyes. Spread and press all parts of the hand into the other hand. Feel that the corners of the eyes pull back towards the brain. Lift the occipital ridge upward and soften the jaw. Allow for that rise of the upper palate. And turn the attention to the rhythm of the breath, smooth and steady. And then join me for the sound of Om. Release the head down towards the heart center and surrender there completely. Release the hands with the palms up. Bring the head up with closed eyes. And then softly open the eyes. Okay, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Once you kind of, move into the body a little bit and you get kind of comfortable in downward dog, I want to do some semi-dynamic work in downward dog. Take a moment now, pull the chest forward so your chest lifts and pulls to your thumbs. So the head will lift. Now as you do that, turn the upper arms out and deepen your shoulder blades onto your back. So it gets the sense that the shoulder blades are pushing in towards the back of the chest. Do that, whole hand presses evenly as you shift back into downward dog. Keep the forearms lifted as you make that shift. Then with your exhale, roll the buttock towards the heels. Really accentuate that action. Buttock to the heels to work to take your heel bones down. Relax the abdomen so that is possible. Then spread the mounds of the foot to broaden the back of the leg. And then start over. Pull the chest forward, turn the upper arms out, shoulder blades on the back. Imagine there's a bolster under your forearms, because there could be, right? Maintain the lift of the forearms, shift back, shoulder blades pressing into the back as the palms press down. Release the head. Exhale, flow the buttock towards the heels. So again, it feels almost like there's a sling pulling the hips down. That is a hands-on adjustment that you've probably been experienced. Drive the heels down. You might even find that it turns your legs slightly out. Don't worry about that. But maintain that descent to the buttock, and now spread the mounds of the foot, which helps the legs come back to neutral. Now, all those things one more time. Roll the chest forward, turn the arms and go back into downward dog. Buttock to the heels. So it's sort of like I want you to start to do them faster and more fluidly. And then walk the hands back to your feet. You can hold the elbows, descend the side ribs. Change the crossing of the arms. Now feel especially how your heels can remain anchored down, right? Take your hands and slowly go forward and back into downward dog. Take your time so that if it's difficult for you to keep the heels down, I want you to use this time to kind of stop where you need to and see if you can, again, roll the heels down. So that has everything to do with how you work your pelvis. Flow the buttock to the heels to get those heels down and creep the hands forward further and more. The frontal ribs knit towards the frontal hip points. And then child's pose. Keep the head down. If you need to put it on a brick or something, just do that. Bring the hands behind you, interlock the fingers, and roll the shoulders to the ceiling. Roll the shoulders to the ceiling and then pull the hands and wrists away from you, shoulders towards the wrist, and then take the arms up. So as you do that, broadening the collarbones, roll the side ribs forward. Release the arms, change the crossing. Repeat that work. And then hands under your shoulders. Inhale, come on up. All right, so we're taking headstand from here. Salamba Shirshasana, okay? Have what you need, be at a wall if necessary. Otherwise, just come on up. It is at this stage, this level 4 stage and above, that I start teaching variations in headstand. We're not going to do major variations today, but we are going to move the legs around a little bit, which can be a bit topsy-turvy if you're not used to it. That's why I'm doing some general things that just kind of help us get used to it. So what we're going to do once we're up in headstand for a little bit is we'll turn both legs out, take them wide like Upavishta Konasana, then Baddha Konasana, and then legs straight again. We'll do that probably a couple times. But the thing I really want to demonstrate so that everybody knows what I'm talking about, and you can do this, by the way, if you're at a wall, if you are not flush up against a wall. A lot of times when we come to a wall, once we understand headstand, we're like a shin's distance away. That's the case, you can do this, but it's virasana in headstand. So what I mean by that is just this. But you'll see how I open my frontal groins, the tailbone can deepen, and it helps the chest to broaden. And that's it, okay? So nothing more you need to know about that, but when I say bend the knees and your knees point to the ceiling, toes to the ground, you'll know what I mean by that, okay? All right, get ready. So just bring yourself on up. Press the outer wrist forearms down. Crown of the head on the ground. You guys all know headstand at this point. Oh, I meant to say too, if for any reason you're not taking headstand, do that Setu Bandha Sarvangasana on top of a bolster with a brick under your tailbone. So shoulders on a bolster, tall brick under your tailbone. The feet can be apart. The arms can be at your sides. It's a very relaxing Setu Bandha. Otherwise, once you come up into your headstand, separate your feet hips distance and roll. Push the buttock to the heels. Flex your feet hard so the heels press up. Now, as you do that, you may feel in your thigh bone that a little bit, just doing that action makes your legs turn a little bit out. There's nothing wrong with that. It will also help you hug the outer groin in, and that's good. Now, keep it and start to bring your feet together until the inner edges of your big toes, mound of the big toes touch, then press the mounds of the foot to the ceiling. Keeping the tailbone in, open the frontal groin there, and broaden the collarbones. And breathe. Observe how the spreading of the mound of the foot, right, helps the outer ankle, calf, and outer hip hug to the midline. The mound of the big toes pressing up can help you lengthen the inner legs upward. So it's like the legs become lighter thanks to the actions that they perform. It's like the legs lift up off the pelvis, almost as if the legs lift the tailbone up and away from the waist. Breathe into the side ribs, neck and jaw soft. And even though it's not a super obvious is the wrong word, but not super aggressive action, feel how when you press your forearms down, it helps the shoulder blades stay on the back. And that action helps broaden the front chest. Keep the legs straight and steady. As if the legs were bound together. Then turn both legs out and take the legs wide. Upavishta Konasana. Just go wide. It doesn't matter how wide, just what's comfortable for you. Flow the buttock to the heels. It's like the right buttock flows to the right heel, the left buttock flows to the left heel. Then spread the mounds of the foot to press away. The feet will be slightly forward. Samakanasana would be more straight out to the sides, and that's not what I'm asking you to do. Now from there, bend your knees and bring the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Feel the whole outer rim of your foot connect to the other foot. So it's not just the big toes touch, right? The whole foot touches the whole foot. Then Shirshasana. Catch the tailbone. And then one more time. Feet turn out, go wide. Push the heels away. Flow the mounds of the foot to press away. Then Baddha Konasana. Then headstand. Then Virasana, so press the outer wrists. In Shirshasana, the knees do not have to stay together, but the front leg should reach up and your toes and the mounds of the foot should look towards the floor. Observe how that takes your tailbone deeply in. Then, to come down, keep your knees bent and just draw the knees to the chest. Press the outer wrist, reach through your toes, and just set the toes down. Child's pose. And then just to release the neck, take downward dog. And then let's just go ahead and bring the knees down and have a seat. Okay, so get 2 bricks. Now, the bricks are going to stack like that and like that. So you see I have one on the low height, one on the medium height. We're going to put those behind us. We're setting up for Paryankasana, which we do from Virasana. But first, we're just going to do Virasana. So you're going to sit between your heels. Come to sitting now in Virasana, and you just put those bricks behind you for the time being. Flow the buttock to the back of the knees to descend the hips. Right? Give yourself a little moment to get there. I always find if my body is a little achy or if it's just a little tight, you can use your hands to kind of press into the mounds of the foot. Then press into the heels. Press the Achilles down. Sort of just gives you a minute to sort of iron the legs down. Even the back of the calves. You know, sometimes when it's excessively hot, oddly more so than when it's excessively cold, I don't know, maybe not oddly because it's hot, the body can get kind of swollen and the muscles can get kind of tired or kind of like a swollen feeling. So sometimes you feel a little tighter in poses like this. Just give it a moment. Thigh bones down, quadriceps down. Descend the hips. Parvatasana, interlock the fingers. Lift up, shoulder blades in the back, pull up. And take the arms forward and down and change the crossing of your hands. Pull up, pin the outer upper arms in as if someone's hands were there pushing them towards the midline. Pretend that's happening. So when they push into the midline, they help you lift up. And then release Gomukhasana, arms. Take one arm behind, one arm on top. Change sides. First side again. And second side once more. And then release the arms. Now, from there, you just kind of check those bricks, make sure they're in a reasonable place. Again, flow the buttock to the back of knees, lift to the chest, and lie back. Try and catch those shoulder blades, walk them down the bricks. Let the head release back and the arms pull overhead. Hold your elbows. Again, those outer upper arms should feel like someone's hugging them to the midline and helping you take them overhead. Now at the same time, frontal thighs heavy. Change the crossing of the arms. Then release the arms. Inhale, come on up. Remove the bricks. And then just come forward and take Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Reach the heel bones down again. Remember that oscillation you did in downward dog, chest, then legs. Consider using that. Now, bring the knees to the ground and sit in Vajrasana. Just sit on your heels for a second. We're not holding these things all that long, but now we're going to take Paryankasana without the bricks, because there's something to the action of pushing your elbows onto the ground to roll the chest up, to lift the chest, that's worth finding. You know, you got the lift of the chest thanks to the external prop, but now I want you to find the lift due to the internal prop. Now, again, if you need something under your hips, then what we typically do, or what I typically teach at this point, is if you need a brick there, that's fine, but you have to have something of equal height behind you to get your elbows on. And again, you'd flow the brick away, push the elbows down. This would need to be closer, because then the head would release back. And you would need, in this case, another brick, right? Because all that needs to be the same height. So the head would go down, press the brick to get your chest to lift. If you don't need those things, you'll catch a little bit more of it if you can do without the props. But if you need the props, you need the props, you know, so just, you got to find what you need. But if the props are not necessary, you bring the elbows back, holding your heels and pulling gives a big lift to the chest. That's important. Head back and down, and again, elbows press, thigh bones down. So this form of Paryankasana is next. Okay? So as you're ready, flow the buttock. Elbows down, press the elbows, lift the chest. If you can walk your fingers to your heels, pull your heels and get the chest to lift. Thigh bones descend as your chest lifts. Then release the head back to bring the crown of the head down. Press the elbows straight down, fingers point to the ceiling, to feel the upper back coil in. Now, the more your thighs descend, the greater that coiling sensation becomes. Then, inhale, come all the way back up. Widen your knees. Keep the feet there if you can, otherwise big toes together. Child's pose. Downward dog. Now, from that downward dog, lift the head, look forward, turn the upper arm. So you feel that upper back move in. Now inhale, and with your exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana to the floor. So right through, tailbone in, come on down. Good. Then bring the legs close together so you feel the big toes hug together and reach back. Observe how when you do that, the tailbone can reach and flow towards the big toes. Then bring your elbows a little forward of your shoulders, not much, palms down. pull with the forearms. Pin the outer shoulder blades in and the shoulder blades themselves press into your back as you reach through the big toes and the tailbone goes straight down. Do those things together for Bhujangasana. Then you can pull with your hands to begin to lift the elbows a little bit. They don't snap to straight. Pull to get that circular motion, that coiling motion deeper in the back as you lengthen the frontal body up. Then lengthen forward and come down. Now, we're going to repeat some of that. So we're going to take chaturanga back to downward dog. So just remember, when you bring your hands now by your side ribs, the hands press down and forward, and it gives that same coiling in your back. You turn your toes under, buttock to the heels, then take a breath and you float, then just take downward dog. Right? So now we're just going to repeat that chaturanga coming from the opposite direction. So heels down. Those same actions in downward dog, spread them out of the foot to keep the tailbone in. Pull the chest forward in chaturanga to the ground. Bhujangasana. Ekapada. Bakasana. So press the palms down, roll the shoulders back, reach through the big toes. So work with your legs so the top of the foot is down, the kneecaps lift, and the tailbone is in. Then right side first. Right arm up, then the right leg. Reach back, hold the inner foot. You want to feel the upper arm turns out, thumb points to the ceiling. Then as you press that foot slightly back, roll the right frontal groin down. Breathe. Then lift the elbow, turn the hand and point the fingers forward so that the hand presses down and forward, shoulder back. Roll the right groin to the ground. And then release that side. Second side. So each time when you press the hands and the shoulders go back, move the shoulders and shoulder blades down so that as the tailbone comes in, the frontal spine lengthens. Go to the left. Don't be in a hurry. Rather wait for the pieces to come together there. Then left elbow up. Turn that hand down and forward so the left shoulder rolls back. Lift and roll the left groin towards the ground. And then release. Rest. And then repeat each side. So almost feel as though your front thighs are being drawn back so that the frontal groin lengthens. And from the pubis and the frontal hip points, that region should feel almost like it pulls forward. Right side first. And then second side. and rest. Turn your toes under, place your hands for chaturanga. Hands press down and forward, heels press back. Take a breath. Chaturanga Dandasana, downward dog. Find that oscillation in your downward dog, right? Broaden the chest, pin the upper arms. Heels down, mound of the foot spreads. Then chaturanga to the ground. Then stay right there. Pull the hands back, right? So they're kind of by your side ribs. Pull the hands back, lift the chest up, and turn your toes in. Kind of walk the toes in more and more. So you're trying to make that distance between hands and feet a little shorter. You're on the mounds of your foot, heels back. Now exhale, and with an inhale, upward dog. Press the heels back, lift the knees to the ceiling, roll the shoulders back and lengthen from the pubis to the chest. Then downward dog. Heels descended. Now we're just going to go back and forth between that upward dog and this downward dog, right? So exhale, and with your inhale, upward dog. Coil the upper back in, and exhale, downward dog. You can shorten the stance if that's appropriate for you. Upward dog, lift through the inner arm, downward dog. Last one, upward dog, downward dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands. And inhale, come up. Get a chair and bring it back to your mat. We're going to use it in a minute, not right away, because I missed one thing I wanted to do on the ground. So we'll kind of go back and do that and then continue on here. I'm just going to move these things out of the way so you can see me a little bit better. Okay, so now we're going to come from standing. We're going to go through chaturanga to downward dog. I'm sorry, we're going to go through chaturanga to the floor. We're going to take shalabhasana and dhanurasana. In fact, I'm going to set this chair just a little aside for a moment so I can kind of have room to do these things. So let's say we'll start from the top of the mat. We'll jump to downward dog, okay? You guys know that. Come to standing. Find Tadasana. Really effort towards that plumb line inside. Then bring the palms together. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Palms down, take a breath. Oh, jump to downward dog. I jumped to chaturanga, I forgot. Midway. Then chaturanga to the ground. Now, shalabhasana. So reach the toes back, hook your thumbs, and again, roll the shoulders to the ceiling. Roll to the ceiling, pull back, and inhale, lift the chest up. Imagine a very, very heavy person is pushing your heels down. They're really strong. Push down there. And then come down. Change the hook of your thumbs. Roll the shoulders to your wrists. Inhale, come up. Coil that upper back in. And exhale, come down. Good. Rest for a moment. Keep the frontal groins long, open. Breathe into the side body. From here, dhanurasana. So bend both knees. And walk the thighs back a little, tailbone in. Your knees don't have to be super wide, but if it bothers your knees, if this is painful on your knees, widen them. It will help you get there. The big toes can touch, no problem. Now, reach the hands back, hold your outer ankles. Roll the shoulders back. Press the feet back now so the shoulders flow towards the wrists. Now, as you wait here in sort of this intermediate region of the pose, roll your outer knees back. Imagine someone's holding those outer knees, pulling back. Exhale, and with your inhale, lift the thighs away from the ground, toes to the ceiling. Lift the chest. Use the legs to help hoist the upper back, our body up, and coil the upper back in. The pelvis, the abdomen, remains on the ground. And then lengthen forward and come on down. Rest. So we're doing just that again. Flow the buttock to the heels. Bend both knees, grab the outer ankles. If the knees need to separate, then you just do. Press the feet back, lift the chest. Exhale, and now with your inhale, thighs up, chest up. Breathe. And then release and come on down. Okay, so now we're going to bring the chair into the equation. So what you'll do is the chair comes right there at the edge of your mat at one end, right? Now we're doing a couple things with the chair. The first one, okay, I'm going to have to take my chair forward. The first thing we're doing is a very common Shalabhasana sort of beginner's work that helps us learn how to get long and to coil the upper back in. So what I mean by getting long is from the outer hip through the outer armpit to lengthen. So it's the one where you bring your wrists up there and you just get long. It's not so much that I'm trying to push down. That would be this. Right, it's not that. That's a little aggressive. Just think of this as like someone holding your wrists and pulling you longer. Oh, heels are being anchored, tailbones being anchored, and the arms are just getting long. Okay, just come on and try it for a little bit. It's just a matter of getting some length. Come on in. Big toes reach back to help keep the tailbone in and the low back and sacral region lengthened. That's it, and just enjoy that length. Breathe into the side body so it's like you're aerating the side body. And you can look forward or down. You don't have to crank your neck to look up or anything like that. Don't worry about that. And then just release and come on out. You can sit back on your heels. So now I'm going to show you kind of another thing that you can do that helps teach Shalabhasana with the chair. All of these things are really helping to learn the tailbone in, but also they will highlight for you if the tailbone is not in, because it will make your low back bear the brunt of it. So that's what that means. If you're getting that chop in your low back, the tailbone's not in, back out and do the thing that came before. So what we just did, right? Otherwise, this can be really kind of great. Now, I will say, if I had a wooden floor, it will be easier to get into. So if you have a slick floor, what you can do now is put a blanket under your knees and kind of legs like that. And you put your forearms here and you slide your legs back. Doesn't work like that in this situation because I have covering on my floor. So I kind of have to stay on my mat. So you don't have to do it this way. You can choose that, or forearms up and you have to just kind of crawl the legs back. But the idea is, watch, shoulder blades down, tailbone in, but now I'm getting that length again. Tailbone in, frontal spine long. Forearms just pressing straight down. Heels anchored. Okay? Come on, give that a try. So it's like a wave. It's like you want to take the tailbone as close to the chair as you can manage. While lengthening through the side body, shoulder blades on the back. Breathe. Use your feet, right? The big toe region lengthening back and feet down, tailbone in. Get the shoulders out of your ears. Shoulders down to coil the chest forward and up. And then when you're ready to come out, just put your hands on the ground or something and shift back and sit back on your heels. Good. Now we're going to kind of back up a little bit in order to move forward. So what we'll do, just kind of watch. I'm just going to get my chair out from away from the wall. Now you could turn so that you're looking at a wall like that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just staying this way so that you can kind of see what I'm doing a little better. If your back is sensitive and the chair feels hard against your back, just put a blanket on it. But you guys know this one. Heels are on the front legs of the chair. Catch the shoulder blades. You'll hold the back leg to turn that upper arm. You catch the shoulder blades. But it's all happening at once when I lift up. So heels down, tailbone in, I release the hands. And I lie back. And I let the back slide a little in the direction of the head. Tailbone, 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 tailbone. And I just come down. Okay. Get ready. So the idea is, I want you doing almost in an alternating way, gripping your own back and driving that coiling action in. And then every once in a while, something pressing into the back to drive that coiling action in. Breathe up under the collarbones, and then when you're ready, heels down, tailbone in, release the hands, come up. Let the body drape against the chair. The upper body does nothing. The legs do a lot. Heels down, tailbone deeply in, open the frontal groins. And then release and come on down. Now listen, we're doing it just one more time. This time we're gonna, assuming your shoulders are happy, we employ the arms. Now, this is part of the reason why if you have your head facing a wall, you can use the wall and kind of walk your hands down a wall. But you don't have to. You can use the wall or you cannot. So the way to do if you're not, you take the pose, tailbone, tailbone, hook your thumbs and reach. Can't talk and do. But you get it, and then you can just switch the crossing of your thumbs, okay, and just reach, reach, reach. Okay. If you have the wall there, you can crawl, and that's good. But you want to make sure that upper arm turns so that the base of your neck is free and clear, right? There should be no pain there. That's not correct. So come on in. So you want to feel that the tailbone's in and the frontal groins are long. The coiling is in the back body, so the upper chest is open. Then you just hook your thumbs and reach. Really work your heels and tailbone there to gain length in the frontal body. Maybe you switch the hook of your thumbs. Reach, reach, reach. Good, everybody. And then when you're ready, release and come on down. Good. Okay, last bit here, kind of getting this coiling action going, and then we're going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to use a wall now. So I'm just going to turn my mat, narrow edge against a wall. Now, sorry, I just want to arrange this so I'm right between those wall ropes. Have your chair. Now from here, it would be nice if you have another mat. Just keeps things stable, that's all. But if you don't sweat it, no big deal. Now, if you only have one bolster, it goes right there. If you have more than one bolster, cool, let's use them. So the second bolster would go like that on top of the first one. The second bolster can be used for your chest to help you get that coiling action, because now nothing is going in your upper back. It's up to you to grab it, to coil it, to hug that region in. This is Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, facing a wall. I want to get my frontal groins here. My center chest will go here. My hands will go on the wall, and I'm pulling my sternum up the wall. But it's how I use my feet and my legs that make everything else come alive, right? Obviously, because that's what's on the ground. So, sorry, I'm just going to get this out of the way. So the work will look like this. Frontal groins. But now watch my feet. This is not going to cut it. I have to get my feet awake. So I use the sides of the backrest and pull down. So the heels pull towards the buttock and the buttock flows to the heels. Shoulders back to coil the upper back in. Then hands to the wall. Hands to the wall, I lift the chest and breathe. And you see, as I lift more, this part has to hug and grip more. Okay? That's the story. Oh, it creates so much space. So good. Okay, I'll do it with you. Here we go. So put your hands on the bolster that's on the chair. Bring your frontal groins to there. Hands grab the backrest of the chair. Walk the toes in. Spread the mounds of the foot, but now lift the heels to the buttock and flow the buttock to the heel. Turn the upper arm out and pull the shoulders back to lift the chest. Your sternum should be crawling up that bolster towards the ceiling. Hands to the wall now. About at shoulder height, pull the paint down the wall. Coil the upper back in, breathe. Work the feet, ankles hug to the midline. Tailbone in. Lengthen from the pubis to the sternum. Then as you're ready, put the hands on the bolster where your hips are and come out. Good. That's the most basic. Again, lower back should feel fine. This area, this thick back rib area, might be tired because it should be gripping and hugging, tailbone in, but the low back should not be stressed. If it is, back up, maybe do Tadasana with the back against a wall so this moves down, thighs back, okay? That's just to keep everyone safe. Now, you're either repeating that or moving on just a little bit here and doing just a little bit more. And again, the little bit more, it's almost like weightlifting here in your upper back. It's teaching the upper back to be strong. So the little bit more is starting where you left off, right? Walking the toes in, lifting through the heels, then you bring the hands behind, hook your thumbs, and you lift the chest. Right? You can interlock your fingers if you want. I kind of like to hook my thumbs. I feel it helps me get more space and movement in my shoulders. Pay attention to how you work your feet and your legs. The outer hips, the gluteal region is very firm to keep the tailbone in. The hamstrings pull to the buttock and the buttock moves to the hamstrings. So that region is also very firm and strong. Pull the paint down the wall to lift the chest. Lift through your upper knees so the back of the upper knees broaden. If you can bring the hands behind you, you do it. Roll the shoulders back and now coil that back to come up the wall. Breathe. Maybe change the hooking of your thumbs. And then release and come on up and out. So I want to do one last thing. Actually, it's two last things, but they are very related. We're going to do a couple Urdhva Dhanurasanas. Not a lot. You know, some classes you want to work towards a particular pose, and that's fine. Other classes you might want to work, you know, the psychic body, the emotional body, the you know, something like that. But this class we're more just working a type of pose, which is a back bend, and working on getting those back muscles to be strong and the tailbone deep. So I'm not going to get rid of my chair entirely, but also coordinating the actions that need to all happen at the same time, tailbone, chest, all those things. So I want you to have the Urdhva Dhanurasana motion in your body. So you can do that a couple different ways. You can use the chair. If pressing up doesn't work for you, you do chair back bend. But if you can press up, you just get on your mat where you have plenty of space, right? You'll reach the arms, we'll place the hands, and you'll do Urdhva Dhanurasana. If that is difficult for your wrists, then you'd put your head here at the wall and you'd put your hands against the baseboard with your hands turned out. So that way the wrists can tolerate it. I'm going to take just the common Urdhva Dhanurasana in the middle of the mat. You do what's right for you. The advantage of doing this way is that I get to reach my arms overhead so they're straight before I take Urdhva Dhanurasana. Personally, I think that is important, but you know, you need to do the alternatives if necessary. Outer arms turn to the ceiling. So now go ahead and place the hands. Bear weight in the inner hands. Inhale. Exhale, press your heels, roll the buttock to the back of the knees and pause. Take a breath. Now with your exhale, you come to the crown of your head. Inner hand down. Take a breath, and with an exhale, press up into full Urdhva Dhanurasana. Then bear weight into the heels and open the front chest. Armpit chest opens deeply. And then bend the elbows and come on down. Rest. So we're just doing this. We'll just do it twice. Right? Because again, it's more of the, I want you to catch the motion of the tailbone and the chest. So if you don't even come up all the way, that's okay. Maybe you come to the crown of your head and you work there. It's fine. All right, ready? And I say that's fine, and it is, but at the same time, you know, it's that thing. It's a fine line between being generous in your teaching and in your practice and taking it easy, but there's also a thing of still look to go forward, work to do more, you know, place the hands, firm the outer arms in, heels down. Take a breath. Exhale, lift the hips and flow the buttock to the back of the knee so you know your tailbone's in. Keep it in, take a breath, crown of the head. Now, inhale, and with your exhale, straighten the arms, weight will be in your legs. Press the heels, open the chest, roll the weight into the hands. Elongate through the side body. Then bend the elbows and come on down. Good job, everybody. Okay. Now, as I said, we're just going to go a little bit deeper. Deeper is maybe the wrong word. We're just going to explore a little bit more still in this vein. Then we're going to do shoulder stand. We're going to release the back and shoulder stand. Okay. So watch. We're going to do this with handstand. If handstand is a difficult pose for you, then you just do what you can. You can always walk your legs up the wall and do that L-shaped pose. That's fine. I'm going to start by just doing a plain old handstand, because I want you to just do a plain old handstand so that even if you're used to kicking up, you know that you're stable for today, but also because I want you to do downward dog first. Downward dog. So, you know, fingers a little away from the wall. You'll do a handstand. Just watch for a second and then we'll all do together. But tailbone in, buttock to the heels. Keep the buttock flowing to the heels so that tailbone is in. You take handstand. We lengthen up, spread the mound of the foot, and pull your chest forward. Firm the outer arms in. So you see that I'm not just trying to get long. I'm trying to get the upper back in and get long. We'll do that first. But then what we're going to do is we're going to put the chair at the wall like that. We're going to guesstimate how far away you need to be, like an arm's distance. So I'm going to put my hands in front of the chair and we're going to handstand there. But to do it, I'm going to take my feet to the wall right away so that my chest is lifted, tailbone in, and I start to look for that chair. Handstand, take a handstand. So when you take that handstand, remember that action of buttock to the heels, heels to the buttock. So important. It's like keeping yourself plugged in to the prana. So once you do that regular handstand, come on down, rest in a soft uttanasana. And once you do, come up, get that chair. So the only thing about the chair is this. You just have to know that your hands can catch you in handstand, because you're not going to be able to fall into the wall. If you fall into the wall, don't use the chair, because it won't be safe, right? So know your own practice. Okay, so if you can use the chair, go on and use it. Hands in front. Shoulders over your wrists, buttock to the heels, walk in, and handstand with your feet to the wall. Broaden the chest, keep the tailbone in, and start to take one leg at a time to start to explore. Well, where is that chair backrest? Start to find out. Keep the chest broad. And then release the legs forward and out of there. And soft uttanasana. So you'll begin to see that you are either too close or too far from the wall. Depends on your body, your shape, how far you guessed from the wall before. I'm a little close. I'm going to bring my hands away a little bit so that I'm closer to getting my feet really sturdy on that backrest. I'm not going for the seat of the chair. I'm just going for the backrest. So it's all sort of, playful and an experiment. So have fun with it, don't overdo. You don't have to do both legs at the same time. Do one and then the other so you can catch the work. So that I can feel that's getting to be a little bit more palatable for me. So now just to play around, I'm going to move the chair. So why? You have to be really clear that you're comfortable with your leg bent, your foot touching the wall, and your arms being straight. You can always put a strap around your arms if you like. But once you know you are, you can start to play around, and we're going to just kind of explore one toe going to the ground. So I'm not even trying to balance in handstand. I'm going straight for the wall so I can turn the upper arm bones out, pull the chest forward. Still buttock going to the back of the knees. I look for that depth of where the back rest of the chair was, around there. And then I start to reach one foot down. I'm a little too close, but I'm going to work with each side. And then come on out and then take a look at where, of course, my hands are. Take a moment, rest. I do want to remember where my fingers are. So I'm going to say I want my fingers about where my toes are. Take a moment, rest in your soft Uttanasana. So I'm going to back it up now to where I put my toes, right? So it just helped me as a reminder where I need to go. Just go straight to the wall, but chest forward, tailbone in. Take your time, and maybe you'll find that Urdhva Dhanurasana from here. Right on blue. Right on blue. So let's move on. And let's do shoulder stand. If you need the chair for shoulder stand for halasana, just have it. But get yourself set up now for Salamba Sarvangasana. Halasana is going to be quite important in this variation today, or in this shoulder stand today, and we will take halasana, legs wide for Supta Konasana. We'll go to one side for Parsva Halasana, just so we iron out all the crinkles of the back after doing all of that work, right? One of the best ways to do that is halasana and shoulder stand, right? As long as the legs are strong and awake, it'll make that space that's necessary in your back again. It's pretty great. Pretty amazing how these poses work together, and pretty awesome how Guruji laid that all out for us. So it would be nice to have a strap around your arms today, just to make sure you keep those upper arms turned out. I'm going to use that. So when you're ready, go on and lie back. Get the strap around your arms. Palms down on the bolster. And when you're ready, come on up to shoulder stand any way you like. Once you're up, be sure to bear weight on the upper arms more than your head or your neck. Then turn both legs out,
Upavishta Konasana, buttock to heel, then press through the mounds of the foot. Then Baddha Konasana. Get even the outer edge of the foot to press. Salamba Sarvangasana, legs back up. Turn both feet out. Again, Upavishta. Baddha Konasana. Salamba Sarvangasana. Take the right leg halfway down. Ekapada. Lift the outer right hip, turn the left thigh in. Inhale, lift that leg back up. And now second side, left leg down. Outer hip lifts, turn the right leg in. Inhale back up. Walk the hands up the back. Again, right leg, go halfway down, buttock to the heel. If you can take the toes to the ground, do it. Lift the outer right hip, turn the left leg from outside in. Inhale the leg back up. Change sides. Touch the ground if you can. Outer hip up, right leg outside in. Inhale that leg back up. Now, lift the buttock, feet together, take a breath, and exhale, lower both legs to Halasana. For now, keep the hands on the back. Flow the buttock to the heels, but spread the mound of the foot so the thighs lift. Now, Upavishta legs. It's actually Supta Konasana. Take your right foot to your left foot, Parsvahalasana. Hug the outer right ankle in, flow the buttock to the heels. Breathe. Then Supta Konasana, then left foot to right foot. Hug the outer right ankle in, flow the buttock to the heels. Breathe. Legs wide, right foot to the left foot. Again, Parsvahalasana. Legs wide, left foot to right foot, Parsvahalasana. Now, take the legs wide, Supta Konasana. Remove your strap. Reach the arms overhead, and first two fingers wrap around each big toe. Press through the heels and the mound of the foot. Feel how the frontal thighs lift, shoulder blades stay on the back. Then bring the legs to Halasana, same story. Bend the knees, Karnapidasana. Reach the arms, straighten the legs, and roll down vertebra by vertebra. Lengthen to take the hips down and bend the knees. Slide the shoulders off the back of the blankets as you're ready, and then rest there. Roll to your side, come up. Move the blankets and your bolster out of the way. All right, all these things, just move them away. If you'd like, would be nice to open up a blanket on your mat So maybe do that. Okay. Then lie on your back and hug your knees in. Bring your hands by your sides. You can even hold the mat and kind of push the mat down and away from you. Straighten the legs, Upavishta Konasana, heels up, then mounds of the foot. Urva Prasarita Padottanasana. Look for a 90 degree. For most of us, that's legs away a little bit. Then take the arms overhead. Shoulders away from the ears, breathe. You guys hear that thunder? No? It's loud. Okay, now take the arms straight out to the sides, palms face the ceiling. Now you're just going to shift the hips a little to your left and take your feet towards the right for Jathara Parivartanasana. When the legs go to the right, your chest turns to the left, so does the abdomen. Then inhale back up, hop the hips a little to the right. Again, when the feet go to the left, the abdomen flows to the right. I can't talk and do. Oops. Then with your inhale, come on back up. Again to the first side, legs to the right. Inhale back up and legs to the left. And inhale back up, hug your legs in. Roll to the right, come up. Take the legs wide. Flow the buttock to the heels. And just for a moment, take a hold of the big toes and roll the shoulder blades down the back. That's it. Mounds of the foot away. Upavishta Konasana. You can take the forehead down if you like. Focus on the length in the sides of the body. Inhale back up, Baddha Konasana, hold the inner knees, move the buttock towards your heels, inner legs long. I keep sliding, I gotta get my feet on something that doesn't slide. Then maybe hold your feet and come forward, any amount. And then legs straight. Last pose, Paschimottanasana. Flow the buttock, lengthen and come forward. Keep the legs awake, elbows wide. And then inhale all the way back up. Lie on the back for Shavasana. Set yourself up well. Move the occipital ridge away from the base of the neck. You might even take the heel of your hand to the top of your forehead and slide the flesh of the forehead down. Use the hands, the palms to cover the eyes gently. Absorbing the consciousness more and more deeply inward. And when you're ready, you can release the hands and then rest there, Shavasana. Let Shavasana be that time that you drink in the practice. All the benefits of the movement and the breath, the effort and the surrender. Observe the weight of the body resting, the effort of surrender and letting go, the not doing, but rather the simple act of observing only. And then bring the hands to rest on the frontal body. Bend the left leg, reach the right arm overhead, and roll onto your right hand side. Use the left hand to press the floor away. Look down to come up. But then do come up. Ooh. Namaste.